And joining us now is Heather Boushey, Senior Research Fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School, former White House Council of Economic Advisors member, and Chief Economist for President Biden's Invest in America cabinet. Heather, good to see you. So in an exclusive interview with Meet the Press, host Kristen Welker, with that host Kristen Welker, of course, President Trump addressed the economy, and here's what he said.
Some people on Wall Street have expressed concerns that the possibility of a recession is increasing. And I want to know what you think about that. Are you comfortable with the country potentially dipping into a recession for a period of time if you are able to achieve your long-term goals?
Well, you know, you say some people on Wall Street say, well, I tell you something else. Some people on Wall Street say that we're going to have the greatest economy in history. Why don't you talk about them? Because some people on Wall Street say this is the greatest thing that ever happened. Well, that's what I'm getting at.
That's what I'm getting at, though. It's the same question.
Yeah, there are many people on Wall Street say this is going to be the greatest windfall ever happened.
And that's my question.
Remember
the long term.
Yeah.
Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
Look, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
So how does that sound to you?
Well, I don't think that sounds pretty good. That does not sound great at all for most American families. The idea that the President of the United States has said yet again that he's okay if his policies cause a recession. That's going to cause a lot of pain in the short term for workers, for families, for small businesses all across the country. And I think what is especially daunting listening to this statement from the president is that he is actively doing so many things that will make a recession that much more painful. When you think about the chaos that DOJ's chainsaws had across the federal government, you think about the cutbacks that they are putting forward in their budget, you think about the fact that he's focused on a tax plan that will put billionaires over families. If we have a recession, it's going to be even worse because we won't have the supports there to help families get through it. And particularly if you do things like, cut nutrition programs right now. So, it seems like a real callousness to the American experience. And, quite frankly, that's on top of him already saying that if kids can't get toys for Christmas, well, so be it. They don't need so many dolls. So there's a callousness there and a lack of sensibility about what American workers and American families really face on a day-to-day basis.
And Trump this week blamed the first quarter of his presidency's economic slowdown on his predecessor. Here's some of what Trump said this week about President Biden.
That's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers. This is Biden. And you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden, because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis. But we're turning it around. It's a big ship to turn around.
You're an economic advisor to Biden. What's your reaction to that?
Well, there's a phrase that I've heard before that you buy it, you broke it, or you broke it, you bought it. And I think that definitely applies here. This is 100% Trump's economy. When President Biden left office, he left an economy on a strong, stable, solid footing. And with every step, this president has said, yeah, I don't really need this. We don't need the economic stability. We don't need the ongoing economic growth. And, has really taken these dramatic steps across the government, from DOJ to his chaotic on-again, off-again tariff policy that's created a lot of uncertainty. And of course, now we saw economic growth fall in the first quarter. I think, even more daunting for him to overcome, that is really on him, is the real drop in confidence that people are looking at this economy and saying, hey, I may not be able to make it here. My financial situation isn't good. If we do have a recession, I'm really worried about finding a job. Small businesses are really struggling. Business confidence is down. So, I think this is really 100% his economy, and you can see that in the data.
Yeah, and picking up on your word there, Trump's dramatic and, in fact, unprecedented tariff war on virtually the entire world has upended partnerships, it's upended perceptions of the U.S. and affected the global economy. How much longer can he pin any economic downturn on Biden? I mean, is Trump already out of time to do that?
He's totally out of time to do that. I think about statistics like the fact that we saw a more than doubling of investment in the building of new manufacturing structures over the Biden years. Well, presumably, President Trump is doing these tariffs to encourage investment, but we actually saw that number fall in the first quarter. That's definitely a Donald Trump number, and it's because of the chaos. How can people make plans? How can businesses make plans? And particularly, how can those smaller and medium-sized businesses that have smaller margins, how can they make decisions with this uncertainty and not knowing whether or not they're going to have tariffs or whether or not they will be able to look to their own suppliers? I mean, this is 100% Trump's economy. And again, when you combine that with what he has done across the federal government to take back supports for small businesses, for families, for workers, this is 100% his economy.
And yet, economic data released this week drew mixed opinions after GDP shrunk for the first time in 3 years. But then we got a surprisingly strong April jobs report. Is it possible, Heather, the economic slowdown that we've seen is temporary? I mean, what kind of metrics are you studying to determine if this is a blip or if we're moving toward a recession?
Well, we often say that labor market indicators are lagging indicators. They come after other indicators start to fall. And, listen, that survey was done in the middle of April. We've seen the chaos continue since then. And what it tells me is that employers didn't go out and start laying off people a ton in the early part of April. But you did see, them bringing on people for distribution and transportation, warehousing, things like that. Well, I think a lot of that was about addressing the influx of imports, which we also saw in data this week. And, you did continue to see this steady pace of job gains. You did, of course, also see wage growth start to slow. It's a little bit slower in the past 3 months than it has been. So that's not a good sign for workers. So there's some numbers under the hood that are a little disconcerting. But, we need to give it some time and to see whether and how businesses cope with this chaotic implementation of tariffs. And I think all the other data that we're seeing indicates that this is going to be quite challenging for them.
Okay, Heather Boushey, thanks so much for weighing in. Appreciate that.